Hey guys, welcome to Factorio, or in this case, Krastorio. So, if you're unfamiliar with Factorio, it's essentially a game about automation and factory building, sort of like what you can see in the background, although this is modded. And so Krastorio is like a big overhaul mod pack that I haven't really played that much of. If you're interested in the exact mods I'm playing, here they are. There's just a handful of mostly they're just quality of life stuff. There's some that are just like graphical, and there's some that are kind of useful, and there's just a handful of sort of overhaul ones. I may or may not tweak this in the future. And also no promises on this series even like being a series, because I don't know how interested you guys are in it, and I might want to play more on my own. I've played a little bit of this mod, and I've played like a few hundred hours of Factorio. It's like one of my most played games. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm very good at it. So Krastorio is very new to me, so there's going to be a lot of sort of figuring things out for myself. I also have the Alien Biomes mod, which I'm very unfamiliar with. So I'm going to try to do a bit of editing, because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of times when this gameplay is going to get very boring and me just like walking back and forth and waiting and stuff. So if I'm not lazy and I remember, I'll try to edit out a lot of that stuff. But no promises. It's still going to be a relatively slow paced series though. Okay, so in terms of the terrain, my mod settings should all be good. For example, I'm re-enabling auto-aim because I just prefer that with weapons. I'm gonna leave all this the same though. I want to encourage exploration. Water will be whatever. Trees though, I want a bit more trees, just so we have a bit more wood plus pollution consumption. Cliffs I really just don't like. They just get in the way, so I'm going to decrease them a good amount. Moisture and biomes, whatever. The enemy's fine, but I want a bigger starting area so that I just don't have to worry about them for a little bit. I have a mod that also makes it so... Well, the way that I like to play Factorio is I like to just sit around and take my time. But that in the base game is kind of bad because the enemies will evolve over time. And so I have a mod that sort of caps that so that they can't get too out of control. Also, it's really nice to have the research queue active all the time. But otherwise, I think I'm going to leave everything the same. Now, let's sort of take a look. I don't know if I want this specific biome. Like these, like this sort of snowy biome. It might be snow. Maybe I'll just stick with it. We have like a good amount of water. In terms of cliffs, they're kind of in the way though. So I'm gonna do another one. And it looks like we're just gonna have this because the seed is that like that. Probably this is the button I want to be pressing. Yeah. Where are the cliffs gonna be? Okay, this might be workable. I'm not looking too much at resources. I just see that they're kind of close together, so I'll just be... I think I'll just stick with this. And I can tweak other settings, but let's hop in. Okay, so it's like a deserty area. And so just like normal Factorio, you start with a crash ship on an alien planet. Okay, so one of the mods I'm using is, it's a tiny start mod, which isn't necessarily so tiny. So one thing it gives me is some armor immediately, and some construction robots. Just because waiting until like the late mid-game to start using bots is such a pain. And also you see I basically leap through the beginning game where I just get a handful of belts and like steam power and miners and stuff. It's just to speed up the very beginning. I don't have any assemblers though, and I don't have the ability to make assemblers yet. And since this is Krastorio, there's like a whole new research tree and a whole new research system, so there's no like red science or anything. You have different tech cards and stuff. Now, part of the ship actually has useful sort of components. I don't know if I can even damage ship reactor. I don't know if repair packs work on that. But I can also just tear these down. But you see that there's some assemblers just lying around. I think everything else, though, well, unfortunately, it looks like the bots can't actually destroy most of this stuff. They can do some of it, at least from experience. Either way, let's just collect some wood. And these do take a very long time to get rid of. So I might not even waste my time, but the issue is, if I don't do this, I don't get iron. And getting this, like, starting iron is super useful. So I could do the sort of normal start, but since I have this accelerated one, let's just go straight to the water and get some power. Although one other thing that Krastorio changes is that offshore pumps need power, which kind of makes sense. Instead of just magically pumping. Firstly, let me just clear out this area. I'll collect some fish, too. And fish you can use to heal yourself. You walk over here, let the bots get these trees. We have tons of room around this. So I think I'll do it over here. And you also notice underground pipes, if you're familiar with Factorio, they are much longer in Krastorio. And a lot of the other underground belts are going to be pretty similar. There's a lot of interesting stuff. But I really haven't spent much time with it yet. So I can get the sort of normal setup. And I also have a mod called Squeak Through, which lets us walk through like these areas here so that we don't have to go around very painfully. So I'm just going to do the like normal steam boiler setup. Okay. And we're also going to need this, which of course you'll see a problem here. There's literally no way to power this. And I actually don't think there really is a fix, but what we can do is make wind turbines, which are a really cheap early game energy source. We just actually need to mine some of this stuff. I don't think I'm going to use most of these assemblers. That's weird that it shows the icon. I shouldn't be able to actually collect that. I hope that's not a bug. Either way, I would just destroy it, I guess. I guess I actually have to destroy this. And I also don't think I'm actually going to be cutting this out, because that's the issue with editing. Like, I could essentially just watch back the entire video and edit where, like, it should be edited, which is definitely, like, the right way to do it, don't get me wrong. But that is certainly a lot more work, especially having to listen to myself for all that time. If there's, like, obvious huge pauses I, like, will notice, then I'll edit it out. But I guess if I just keep talking, it's not really a big deal. If you guys are bored, feel free to just skip along in the video. Or, you know, close it, come back, or don't come back. It's all up to you, you know? I'm not going to tell you how to watch videos. Which is definitely a pet peeve I have about other YouTubers sometimes. When I watch videos, like, you'll notice if you follow my content that I don't really ask people to, like, subscribe or like or any of that stuff. And it's mostly just because my opinion is, like, as a viewer, at least, I know if I want to subscribe to someone and I know if I want to like a video. So I don't need to really be asked. Like, there's the occasional time where a reminder's actually nice. But I find it more annoying if you're subscribed to someone and they're constantly asking you to subscribe and you're already subscribed. It's just like, I get it. You need, like, more people, but it gets annoying. So I just prefer not to do that. You guys can make up your own minds. Okay, how many resources do we have now? Nice. So let's go up here, and you'll notice there's some new intermediate ingredients like iron beams and inserter parts, and you'll also notice a lot of things are retextured as well. So now that I have this, I'll just slap this here. So this will never turn off now, in principle. And we're going to need coal coming in here eventually. Hopefully we have enough belts. For now I can just give it a little bit of wood. Just to get started so we have a bit extra power. Because I'm going to skip the burner phase pretty much entirely. It's more... Burner phase is more annoying than anything else. Oh, maybe wood has a much worse... I think a lot of things take a lot more fuel in Krastorio than usual. Yeah, like all the... No, it is building up steam, so it's okay. I also don't want to use all my wood, because wood actually has a big use in this mod. So I guess what I can do is just bring this down, and then maybe I can have, like, furnaces over here eventually. And one of the thing about the Alien Biomes mod is you'll notice some terrain is harder to walk over than others. Which is, of course, realistic. I'll just put that there. And we have to sort of go up and over. But we still have enough of these for now. And then once I get some basic stuff going, I also have sentinels, which are like mini radars. And they don't really explore new areas, but they are pretty good at just keeping an eye on an area so that when I go in the map view, I can like go over here and actually see it instead of having this. I'm just gonna use the bots to get rid of all these, which will give us a bit of coal and a bit of stuff. I kind of like these trees being here, but I do need some more wood, so I'm just gonna like trim it off. I have a mod that in principle enables trees to kind of expand outwards slowly, sort of like natural trees. I haven't really seen it work, but I think it does. It might just be so subtle that it's hard to tell. Oh, I need to run a power line too. But for now we can just do something pretty dumb like this. Just run that straight up. And I will also do this. Power lines, I guess I'll keep over here for now. No, I'll actually keep them... Yeah, I should, because inserters can sort of go down here. You'll notice I can't even make normal inserters, so all of these are just temporary, given by my start mod. It sort of breaks things, having this start mod. Like, it breaks the intended flow of the game, but having bots is just... Like, even if it's only 20 early on, just helps so much when you're, like, designing and... Because it allows you to actually design things. You can actually just, like, build something and then copy it over and erase it with so much less time spent and wasted. Okay, we're, like... There we go. So now, in principle, this will power itself. We can't see down there. So while I'm up here, let me place a sentinel so that in the future we can actually see up here when we're not up here. These are going to run out of steam in a moment, and then they'll stop. But because we have this wind turbine, these inserters and this will always be active. At least a little bit, even if they're very slow. Because this is actually consuming 40 kilowatts, for example. So this will not be sufficient to fully power everything, but... Obviously another alternative is using burner inserters here. And the burner inserters are buffed as well in this mod, so that they can pull from, like, their destination or their source if they run out. And another thing about these inserters that's nice is you can change the drop lane to be near or far, so that you can drop, like, in this lane or on this lane on the belt. I'll just add a bit of coal so there's a bit... I might end up using Bob's inserters, which is another mod which allows inserters to do crazy stuff. Because all I want, right, the only thing I want from inserters is I want to be able to drop onto either lane, but I also want to be able to take from either lane so that things don't get unbalanced. Like, that's... But maybe... So I might need, like, a mod like Bob's inserters. Why are these all on the same side? Oh, because that one's not connected. Yeah, that's a problem. I'll place one of these in the middle, which is of course going to take 40 more kilowatts. But with the steam, it won't be a big deal. So, because I want these to be sort of synced up, I'm going to do it like this. Because I want them to... I want everything to be symmetrical, if I can. This is probably more than... This is definitely actually more than we need for a while. But that's okay. Once they all stop, we can just do this. And now they should be mining mostly in sync. Yeah, and then we'll get these nice pairs going up. Okay, so we still have these things in the middle, and we're going to have to start using those. Let's get rid of that rock. Let's clear up this whole patch. We're not going to use this whole patch yet. I guess I do have a burner miner drill. So what I'm going to do is this. So the recipes, if you're familiar with normal Factorio, Factorio, are, they're changed up in this game. So normally in Factorio, it's a 1 ore to 1 plate. But here, firstly, furnaces actually have recipes that you can choose from, like assemblers, which is really cool. And then they're actually going to be doing, it's 2 ore to every 1 plate, but you make them in bulk, which I kind of like because it kind of makes sense. Like, that's sort of just how things are in real life. If you make something like this, you'd make it in bulk, a lot of them at a time. And so a single burner drill is actually not really enough to fill this. And so as a compensation, it also uses much more fuel, I believe, than normal. But that's really not a big deal. Okay, where's copper we're going to need as well? That's just down there. Definitely gonna need copper. Oh, we do have copper wires already. Probably from the wreck. So I'll just make some extra power poles. And so these are just gonna be manually doing things for now. No, I'll just go grab some coal and fill these up. They also increase the stack size for some things. I think, like, a lot of the ores, I think all of the ores go up to 200 now. That's, like, many things, but obviously here, not everything. Also, the coal's no longer symmetric, but that's okay. I need to place some sentinels down here, though. As you can see, we're also producing pollution, which is going to become an issue soon, but I made the starter area pretty large, so it's not too big of an issue yet. Okay, so now our steam power is like pretty solid. It's going to be all set for a very long time. It's like not able to run out anymore. Let's just grab some more of this coal. And honestly, I don't really pave my bases usually, but a mod like this definitely is going to make me invest in concrete for my like base. My issue with Factorio is my issue with coding, where I'll get far and then I'll think I can just do this better if I restart, and then I just restart instead of continuing. That's one of the benefits of having bots. If you want to just undo everything, you can. You don't have to, like... It's not as painful to sort of redo everything from the ground up. Okay, so we really should start researching soon. So the basic research are these basic tech cards, which take wood and copper cables. Although, unlike normal Factorio, you see we still need the basic cards here, but as you get further up, you no longer need them. So you only need them for like mid-game, and then as you get further and further, you just need the more advanced ones. Which is kind of nice, because then you don't need these like crazy things as you research in a game. Whereas in normal Factorio, you need red science the entire game. And right now we have to just manually collect wood. Which is a big reason why I'm just actually using the bots for this. Okay, so these should all be all set for a bit. Let's see our power. Our power is totally fine. So, let's start doing that. I think I'm going to use like these two assemblers since they're kind of nearby. There is also this computer by itself, but we did start with labs. So, I think I'm going to get rid of those. And I don't know why I can't destroy these, but I'll worry about that later. These are... How far away are these? They seem kind of far apart. 1, 2. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. That's okay. So I'll do something like this, where this one will produce my copper wire. So I'll be putting copper in here, and this will produce copper wire. We only need like one of those, presumably. And another issue is right now we don't actually have splitters. So we have to do something like this, I guess. And then we can bring those in that way. Oh, the hitbox is like over there. So I have to do something. Maybe I could just do this. That's fine. And now I just need to power all of these. Probably the fastest way is just over here. One of my things that I really love to do with this game, this is a game where you can really just sort of listen to something else in the background. Something I've done in the past is I'll just like listen to either podcasts while I play this, or sometimes creepypastas. That can be a really fun thing to do. And it would be kind of fun to do that here, but I don't really know like there's kind of like copyright implications of just listening to other people's content and then uploading that. So I don't know. I guess one thing I could do, hypothetically, which would be a horrible idea, so I'm not going to do it, but hypothetically what I could do is I could be listening to something, not recording it, and then I could tell you guys what I'm listening to, and then you could open it up in another tab, and then sync it, and then we could listen to it at the same time, but that sounds like such a bad idea. Let's manually collect these. Really need the copper right now. Okay, but that's a good amount, so that's going to help with the basic research. Again, I don't know what to do with this reactor. Power output 240. Unless it just... Wait. Wait a minute. Oh, it just works. It just does generate stuff. Okay. I'm fine with that. That makes enough sense. I mean, it's not as good as the other thing. Yeah, but, you know, it adds up. So let's sort of add all of the copper into this. And I guess what I can do is I can put a chest here. Yeah, and this just actually does work by itself. Where's all my wood? Did I already put it all in here? Yeah, and I can just have inserters do this. And now if I just fill these, we'll end up with these cards. And now what these cards can do... This is obviously, you know, very basic stuff. I'm not gonna worry too much about how this is happening right now. Let me just take a peek, make sure my... Okay, so I do need a sentinel down there. But in terms of pollution, we're doing okay. And for now, I'll just do something like this. They do buff the medium power poles, which is amazing. But yeah, there's so much to this mod I don't know, so it's going to be very interesting. But now we can start researching stuff. I kind of want the submachine gun because it's super useful, but we should really get automation first. That should be the first thing. And research is very slow. I should probably make more labs. But this is sort of the idea of the game, if you're unfamiliar, including vanilla, by the way. This is essentially the idea. You just get resources to where they need to go, and then your machines do everything for you. For now, we're going to be hand-feeding these chests, but in the future, we could fully automate that. And then we could just do nothing. But the good thing about Factorio, it's so well designed that even though the goal is for the game to play itself, you always have like 4 or 5 things you could be doing. So like right now, I could be improving those labs. Hypothetically, I could be improving my power. I don't really need to yet. I could be building like a good mining setup for iron, which we will be doing soon. I could be mining this. I could be walking the outskirts so that I can map the area and know where the enemies are. We have a lot of options. And right, I need one of these down here. Okay, and now you can see, even though I'm over here, I can go all the way up here in my map, and I can keep an eye on things. There's tons of trees down here. So I'm just going to deforest a little bit so that we have access for the tech cards. And if you're curious how long it takes to cut trees by hand, it's really not that bad. But it certainly is much slower than bots. And so, I mean, I imagine if you're watching this far and we're about half an hour, you're probably at least kind of interested in either the game or what I'm saying. So that's nice, you know? I'm glad you're enjoying. Let me know, though. Like I said before, I don't really ask for YouTuber type things, but I do ask for comments just so I can... Specifically, feedback, right? If you're actually really interested in this, let me know. Because when people tell me they're interested in things, that actually is super useful so that I know, okay, let me do more of this because people are actually interested and it's not just like a view number. Because you can have content with not necessarily great views, but people are interested in which case it's worth making, and you can have really high view content where it's like, well, maybe it'd be better off to, like, maybe people aren't really so interested in it. So clearly we have too many of these cards, so we're going to make a few more labs to compensate. And you can see what I mean if you're unfamiliar with the game. Down here, how come we've been filling this coal belt up symmetrically, but it's turning asymmetric? And the reason for that is we're pulling off with inserters. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. And by default, inserters will pull from, I believe the close side is by default. And so that's kind of an issue because it leads to belt imbalances. With certain mods, you can make it so that they pull off of specific areas. I think Bob's inserters allows me to do what I want, but if not, it allows you to do some crazy things. Okay, I could make my mining speed faster, but I probably really want assembling machines so that I can assemble anywhere. And then the big thing we want to get up to is logistics. So after this, I need to do this, and I need to go straight into logistics so that we can get splitters and inserters so that I can actually build like a furnace stack for resources. I'm not too familiar with what the shelter actually is. Spawn point for your force. One thing that's interesting is this mod is extremely compatible with the like space mod where you can visit different worlds and stuff, which is really cool. I'm not going to go into that anytime soon, but maybe in the future. Okay, so now we have 4 labs and we have 2 assemblers working on this. But you can see how slow research is, although this is actually pretty good. I'll add up more wood in here. I'll add a bit more copper. Maybe I'll go grab some more as well. And of course, the more automation you do, the more pollution you produce, which means eventually we'll learn about the biters. But I do recommend this game. It's like the closest thing to programming that as a game. It's really strange, and you actually can make sort of like computers in the game with the circuit networks and stuff that we haven't gotten to yet. It's just like there's so much depth, and yet it's so simple that it works so well. Like it feels like it's a good, well-built game, you know? It's so stable. Like Factorio, you almost never get bugs in, at least from my experience. Perhaps with mods you will from time to time, but you pretty much never get bugs. It just works so well, and it's so optimized. Alright, I really do want to explore more, and we don't have radars. One of the other mods that's super useful, if I go into... Is it down here? Yeah, we have a recipe book. Is there a... I'm not gonna worry about it. But we can search for a radar. And we can see, like, it's an ingredient in certain things. And you can unlock it from certain techs. So we're not actually going to have access to radars until, like, significantly later. Which is kind of unfortunate. The Sentinels don't seem to actually, like, map any of the area. And I don't know if there's an earlier radar. But that's kind of the joy of a mod like this. I really don't know most things, especially as you get much later. I literally have no idea. It's all new. But it'll be really interesting to figure out. And this is also a game, I guess that's the thing, I said I might edit, but like if I'm gonna continually talk, I really don't need to, which is kind of nice. And like I said before, feel free to skip around. It doesn't bother me if you're not interested. But so, now I already forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I could see myself recording like very long episodes of this, like 2 hours, maybe more. Because that's just how I play this game, right? I play this game a lot when I play it. And I'd like to sort of make a real base with this game. Okay, so we're making labs, and we really just can't do much until we get these techs researched. I guess what I can do is I can come over here. We're going to make sort of the smelter setups over this way. And a lot of the ratios for everything's going to change, so I really am going to have to experiment and discover. Let's help them out by just walking over these so that they don't have to deliver it. Okay, that will help a little bit. But we really just need that logistics, so let's go place these labs so that we can research faster. Our copper wire's fine. I mean, we're clearly still keeping on top of the research cards. We still have plenty of those, so we can just research more. And in terms of power, with these labs now generating taking up a megawatt, we're doing okay. But this is going to take a while. And this is what I meant by research queue, by the way. In the default setting is you don't get access to this until you get into the late game, but that's just really dumb. In my opinion, it's like super useful to just have. They do give me 10 of these automation tech cards, but I'm not going to use them yet. Do I actually need them for logistics? I do, and I need 10 extras. So I'll just spread these out then. I'll fix this by making this go on the near edge. And now they'll both end up on this side, which means the reds can be on top. And then those will funnel down. And let me just do another pass so that they have more opportunities to collect them. I want them to be sort of evenly distributed so that research will be as fast as possible. Okay, we have about... I should probably... I don't have assemblers yet, so I can't, like... I guess this is, like, the best I can do. Let me just hand assemble some of these. Well, I say hand assemble. Let's just get, like, a chest full of gears. This inserter, I mean, is very slow. But it looks like it'll be able to keep up. Gears take a long time, but like I said before, you make them kind of in bulk. So the more of these I make, the more belts I can make. And we're definitely gonna need belts, so I may as well be crafting that. Let's collect these. Nice. So that could just be making some of those so that this will be faster. But what I also need are... I need 2 of these. And notice, you make 5 each time, so that gives me the rest of the 10 that I need. All of them are going to take, like, blank tech cards, which are, super cheap to make. And you, like, don't need a lot of these. But yeah, I can't do any more of logistics until I make these by hand. I could make an assembler make them, but I'll just do this. But then once we're there, we'll have logistics. And we can actually just pause, basically, and just set up a, like, furnace stack. So that we have way more resources coming in. We also don't have access to new miners yet. So we only have the handful that the mods gave us. Okay. So that'll finish up. I'll fill this up with copper, just to keep it topped up. Let's check on our gears. 39. And that just is going to save us time doing this. Once we... Actually... Oh, I can make assemblers now, so I can go automate the production of this. Awesome, and now we have these. And you'll also notice we have loaders. And loaders are a very popular thing in this game, but they don't really exist in vanilla. Unless you sort of like... They're in the base game, but you can't actually make them. But what they are is essentially it just directly loads things into buildings instead of inserting them. Although it is programmed like an inserter from what I've read. Okay, do I want any of these things? Like, I want all of these, obviously, but I also don't want much pollution yet. So I'll make a submachine gun. Ammo actually takes coal, which kind of makes sense because you need like a gunpowder type thing. Whereas... Did I not actually make an assembling machine? What did I make instead? I guess I didn't. Well, we probably are going to need all of these. And there's like so much just, so many more intermediate recipes that's really going to make this very interesting. Whoops, I really want to leave that, don't I? Okay, so now we can use some real assemblers, and this will be very similar. And I can just do these. I'll leave gears up to like 2, maybe? That's very slow to take them out, but that's okay. Because now we just have them automated. We can make some splitters next. We won't need loaders for a little while. And you see how slow we're mining iron. That's why we're going to need this furnace setup. And of course, currently we're hand feeding things, but that is temporary. What else would be super useful? I mean, we could sort of do the fluid thing, and then we can start looking into greenhouse to automate wood production. Although we'll need glass, which means we're going to need the crusher first, so that we can actually work that. I guess I'll just do these. And being able to make more steam turbines could be useful. Now we can also make inserters and stuff, and that's awesome. I need to actually make some splitters, though. So we need more iron. I think I have to take some... We don't need that many of these. I need to take like half of this so that I can make some splitters. I'm not going to plan like a mega base right now. I think that's part of my problem is I don't make a real starter base. I need to actually do that. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just leave like a 4 gap. And I'll leave more room for more up. Okay, so I'm going to do sort of like the generic sort of setup here. Oh, I guess it should be 1, 2, something like this. I don't know. And I should probably line this up. It would be like this, and it would be somewhere in there, which means this is kind of fine, but I tend to think I do that, which is not really any different. Although what I could do is I could actually shift this up by 2. And I'll show you why in a moment. Well, what I really want to do, right, is I want to take off this coal. But I also want output priority going to the power. The power should never stop. And what I can do is come up here. And then I can bring in the coal. So did I do that right? No. It was only shifted up by 1. We are doing research. Our pollution cloud's okay for now. And I actually have to do this. And you see why we need the splitters. Actually, I have to do like this so that I can continue the coal onwards for further smelters. But now, doing this, each line is going to have coal as fuel, and the other side will be ore. Okay, we actually have access to some things now. And what we can do is we can make a line just straight down the middle. I think I'll just stack this tightly. I don't really need excess room in here. I'll just tear it down when I upgrade it. Let's do, just something like this. I don't know how many you actually need anymore. And what we need is a power pole. I'll do the top side. And you need to overlap one with these small power poles. Nice. Not nice, nice. And I can just do this. Okay, and now let's hook up the power. So those will get fueled, and then if I put in some ore going in here, And we'll actually start smelting. We have tons of belts, so I'm just going to tear this up. Let's get rid of these. Here's where we're going to want most of our miners. I'll push them out one side so that it covers more. I'll just do this for now, I guess. Definite improvement. So let's actually watch this sort of go in. In fact, let's go grab some copper first. See how our manual copper is doing. 80, not bad. In terms of research, we're doing nothing right now, but that's also okay. Let's get more steam power and let's start doing like stone processing stuff. Right, the other thing I need to do is actually select the recipe, because these need recipes, which is kind of nice because it prevents some very annoying things that can happen in the normal game. Slowly these will fill up, and they'll empty. I think to sort of, in order to get rid of this, I'm going to do like this for the extension. Just so we sort of get the whole patch. We have a few more of those electric mining drills. But this will be fine for now, and there we go. And we have a big line of iron plates coming. It's not full belt throughput yet, but that's totally fine. That's a lot more than we had before. And how many belts do we have in here? A good amount. Let me give you most of the iron. Up here, there's still plenty of copper, but I can give it a bit more. Clearly, I can use more research labs. We're gonna need more iron first, though. Definitely going to need to pave with stone, just so we can walk faster. Okay, we can expand our power if we need to, which we're going to need to, not too far ahead. But so, this is just like a game I'd normally play on my own. So I just thought it'd be interesting to record it so that I'm not really wasting my time as much, you know, because it's like I'm actually at least uploading content. So it'd be nice if you guys are interested, and if not, that's fine. There's other games that are sort of like this, like City Skylines, sometimes I'll just play. And maybe I could do a series on that or something. Maybe I could just do a series of random games as well, where I just sort of play random things every now and then. But this will be interesting to do a series on. Either way, I'm going to, I don't know, I guess I'll try it for a bit, and if you guys don't seem that interested, I'll just like do this on my own time. Yeah, now there's iron production. Not bad. Still need more power poles. So we need more copper. This is now out, which is okay. It should eventually get through that, so I'm not too worried. And how do we get to electric mining drills? We're actually going to need 20 of those, so we have to start automating it. I'm going to make 2 loaders, even though I don't plan on using any. And then I'm going to make a lot of underground belts. Oh, it even gives us a thing. I have seen this. You can just, like, load directly into this. And it can just crush things. Yeah, give me the iron. And so if you're seeing the sort of, like, picture here, downrange of this, we can just, like, automate everything. Just by passing in all the ingredients. We'll also need one for copper as well. Maybe we can start work on that. I will place this as a ghost so that eventually the bots will place it. And I'll just put it right next door. And that way we save on some of the power poles as well. In fact, what I can do is I can press Control C. And I can just highlight this. And I can just paste it. Although I will have to change that. Oh, also it needs to be coming in over here. Yeah, we can... I'll do it this way. Okay, now the fuel will be making its way up, and that's why I have it designed this way, and then you can just keep pushing them up. Oh, we're out of inserters, but I can actually make inserters now, which is great. We're halfway to stone processing. I need more... Yeah, another splitter, so I really need more copper, which is why I'm essentially doing this. We're out of belts. Just gonna fill that up. Oh, it was out as well. Okay, so we're just gonna have to wait a little bit. Let's take a look up here. In terms of wood, we have no wood. Well, oh, yeah. Well, we have this over here, so... Let's go grab some wood. I'll leave some of these trees. I'll try not to make too much of, like, a rectangular cut out of the woods, but... Nice. Also, another thing that this mod does that I forgot about. Let me add some wood here, though, so we don't run out. I don't remember which mod it is, because I did add a separate mod that adds ships, just so you can sort of cross things, but you can... I don't know which mod it is, but you can walk in shallow water now. And I'm really hoping that actually is a mod, because if that's in the base game and I just never noticed, then there's something wrong with me. But I'm very confident that it's a mod. Okay, so now we can start automating greenhouse stuff, eventually. In order to make a greenhouse, though, we're going to have to make sand, and then we're going to have to make glass. So this is just so new to me. I really have no idea how you make things with proper recipes. But I also have another mod that allows you to calculate stuff. So if I come in here and I don't get overwhelmed by all the things that I can see, and I look at basic tech cards, and what if I just want 1 a minute? Then this is what I'm going to need. 1 a minute's really low. What if I do like 1 a second? Then I'll need 8 assemblers. Okay, that's not bad. And I'll be using this basic greenhouse one with no modules. In order to get water, I'll just be, pumping it. And so it just like funnels everything down for you, and it tells you like everything you need. So actually, it won't be that bad to get 1 of these a second. I'll only need 8 machines. I'll need 2 greenhouses, so let's actually double this so that it's more even. Although we're going to need 3.2 of these. 1 per second means we're going to need a 15th of a belt. But yeah, it's really interesting. I kind of like that mod. Okay, we have belts again, so let's continue. In fact, let's pick up some iron over here first. Going to need more copper from down here. I'll just do it like this. Okay, and then I'll use some of the others. Okay, we have 6 of these. That's probably fine. I can just use 2 like that. And I guess I can just place it. And I also need inserters, so let me handcraft a lot of those while we're walking. And as I'm sure you've noticed, but I forgot to mention, one of the best things about this game is when you craft something, it will auto-craft all the in-between ingredients, all the intermediate ingredients you need for it. So you don't actually have to worry about stuff, even when you're doing it by hand. Now, obviously, if you're doing it using assembling machine, that only makes one thing at a time, but by hand, it just auto-queues things for you, so you don't have to worry. I'm also going to need, like, a lot of those. And luckily it is a ghost, so eventually they'll just place them. And since I copied this, actually, I need to change the recipe. And once this is in, which is going to take a very long time, we'll actually start having proper copper. We're almost researched the greenhouse. But now we're at the point where our pollution's going outside of our visible range, which is actually super risky. Well, it's risky. Because there could be aliens out there that are going to attack us. So in fact, let me save this as, I don't know, YouTube Krastorio. You can see I have that other game in there where I just basically booted it up to learn. I'm going to not do research anymore for a bit so that we can drop off our pollution. I could go run and like look at the edge. And unfortunately, we kind of just have to do that, I think. Now, just to guarantee that we actually sort of like get resources, I'm going to place these so that they don't all just fill up. I'm going to need to craft some, though. We're almost there. Okay, good. Then obviously I need to wait for this to be crafted as well. And since we're going out fighting, I'll need more copper plates first, which means we really just need to wait for that one thing. We have tons of iron plates, so we could just put those in here, though. These are going to get filled up. Those have good amounts in them. Okay. We're almost at the point of making this. Okay, now we actually have copper smelting going. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to save, and I'm just going to run the border. Which is definitely going to be... It's not necessarily going to be boring. So let's sort of see what's out here. There's a huge forest this way, which is super nice, because trees will absorb the pollution. That's why pollution hasn't gotten this crazy yet. Some really weird alien biomes I'm unfamiliar with out here as well. That's really cool. Okay, there's water down there, so there's no aliens, no biter nests or anything around here. But there are some over there. So how far is that? That's still very far. But that's why I want to get out here and map it so I can actually see. These forests are really dense. That's awesome. That's actually great, because that means the pollution is going to get here, and then it will take much longer to get through the trees. I also have a mod that lets water absorb pollution up to a point, just to make it sort of realistic. It's not really going to affect this map, though, because there's not, like, a ridiculous amount of water. Some maps, though, that makes an enormous difference when you have, like, half your map is ocean. We have tons of rocks up here, tons of dead trees. No aliens, though. Once we get a radar, though, or even a car, we wouldn't have to do anything like this. Rare metals is a new thing in the mod. It requires chlorine to mine, and chlorine itself is a new thing. Imersite. That's another new one. No, rocks, get out of my way. So it seems like our top is very clear. Oh, and then we get this side, which is definitely going to cause issues because there's no trees in between us and them. Early biters are kind of not that bad. So let's just try. And like I said before, I have auto aiming enabled again. And I have a mod that shows the bullet trails, which I really like. But there's still sort of physics to bullets where, like, bullets can be blocked by things now, I think. Like, I don't think that is in the base game, but, like, if there's a tree in the way, it'll be blocked. Also, you'll notice the ammo is different. In the normal game, you have, like, a single ammo type for most things. Let's see, can I... Oh, I can! The pistol actually does do a good amount of damage, so let me, like, use some of this ammo. I hope I don't run out. I might. You see those worms back there spit? But they spit where they think you're going to go, which makes them not too hard to dodge unless there's a lot of them. So see what I mean? Like, I'm aiming at the worm, but I can't hit it because there's this alien thing in the way. So let me just get rid of this. I want to use this ammo just to get rid of it, even though it's so much weaker. It's definitely not the fastest way to take this out. I don't actually think I have the ammo for this. But there is another thing I can do, I think. Can't I just... I thought I could just, like, whack it. No, I guess not. Well, this is kind of a problem. We're just gonna take these guys home, I guess. And I do have to be careful with my bots, because once they get destroyed, I can't rebuild them, right? Can I get coal in any of these? Oh, well, if they're just gonna sit there, that's okay. But I think they will eventually come back. Any of these have... Oh, there's wood. Any of these have coal? Let's see, are they gonna follow me? Once they destroy that? Yes. Okay. So we just have to get home and make more ammo and then kill them. And eventually I'll have to go back and destroy the single nest. In fact, I'll probably just do that. Look how fast they are, though. I thought I could just whack them, though, with my hand. Hopefully they focus me, though, and not my base. So to be safe, I'm going to go here. Okay. And we need copper. The other one is still somewhere. I kind of like this. It's kind of spooky, you know? I have no idea where the other guy is. Just being chased by aliens. But there we go. I really don't want to walk all that way, though. I don't... Is it just stuck on stuff? Because I don't think they, like, give up. Yeah, I don't know. In terms of our pollution cloud, though, we still have to go down to the bottom and see. I think I'll do that, and hopefully nothing will destroy the base while we're gone. What do we need for gun turrets? We need 10 of those. And gun turrets are very powerful. I think overall ammo is more powerful, which is why they recommend the Armored Biters mod as well. But I don't really take joy in fighting biters that much. Like, it's a nice mechanic. I'm glad they're there, but they just kind of get annoying over time. So all this stuff's smelting. We're very slow. I think I'm just going to head down to the bottom, see what's there, and that will probably be the episode. I'm going to save in case that other biter comes running down and destroys my factory. I can just auto-load and go back up. Okay. Interesting area. A lot of forests on the right. There is some aliens down there, but they're also in the trees. There's some over there. So for now, I think we're okay, but we definitely need to be careful. At least we can see them now. I'll sort of swing around and head up. Okay. They're pretty close. Might want to take them out. We do have the ammo for it. Yeah, I think I'll do that. There are a lot of worms, though, which is going to be annoying. So I need to focus the worms first. Okay. My starting armor does keep me really safe, though. Not that safe, though. I would use the bots to get rid of these trees, but then the worms are going to attack the bots, and if, again, I can't rebuild them. Okay. Let's go around. Oh, look how many more there are. And they've also introduced this stuff, which you can mine by hand or, of course, use bots. And it's biomass here. I think it's also called creep. And it, like, slows you down. But it's also useful for certain things. So let's get rid of these trees in the way. We'll have to leave the other places for now. We can just dig all this up. It's also used as a fuel, but it's not that good of a fuel. 2 megajoules versus 6, so it's like a third of a coal. And of course, currently we can't farm it, we just have to actually go and collect it, so it wouldn't be good to use as a fuel. Let me stand sort of in the middle so the bots can quickly give me things. I should make some longhand inserters for the future. It's always good to be like crafting things just ahead of time before you actually need them, because when you're it is annoying to have to wait for things. Put the long hand inserters here. And they're already done. I don't like that that rock is part health. Okay. So overall, we're pretty safe. But we will have to build proper defenses soon-ish. And you can see my energy shield has been taking a lot of things. Yeah, interesting stuff. I can always read that again if I want. But it is more interesting, I think. Though I don't want to have to aim so crazy like that. I don't want to have to put in that much extra effort, you know? Which is why I have it set the way I do. Okay, back to the base. I should probably collect iron and copper before going up so I can fill up everything. Nice, now there's some good resources. I'm really gonna need like a ton of inserters. We're not really gonna need to refuel this because we're not doing anything, but I will. And then in the future, as we sort of research these things. Okay. So I think that's going to be it for this episode. It's mostly just a basic start. We sort of can see where we're in danger now, which is good. We see some extra ores. And we have just a very basic base where we're just mining some coal. We have very basic steam power right now. Overall, we're doing okay. We have a simple furnace setup. So in the next episode, assuming there's another episode, I'll be, I guess, automating basic science, which is going to take actually kind of a good amount of work because we're going to have to make, we'll have to make some greenhouses, which means we're going to have a basic setup for a crusher to crush some stone. And then the actual recipe for wood is just water, which isn't a big deal. And then in order to make copper, we already have that. So yeah, not too big of a deal. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next video.